Bullying isn't just a normal part of growing up, it's trauma. Because when your child is being bullied, it doesn't just hurt their feelings, it changes their brain, it damages their body, it crushes their ability to focus, trust, and grow. And in far too many cases, it leads to suicide. By the way, I'm Maria Fipard, and I'm a certified parenting coach. I work with families whose kids are struggling with suicidal ideation and depression. And today, I want to break the silence about bullying and show you exactly how to recognize it, stop it, and help your child heal. Bullying affects children physically, emotionally, and mentally. Physical effects: headaches, stomach aches, sleep issues. Have you noticed any of these in your child? Like they never got sick, and then all of a sudden they always have headaches, like they don't even want to go outside and play because they complain that they have either stomach ache or headache, or they start having nightmares, or even worse, night terrors. They start wetting the beds. All those could be signs that your child is being bullied at school. They also have increased cortisol and chronic stress. You can see how your child's demeanor changes when they are constantly stressed out. That they become jumpy and have a short fuse. That could be also a sign. Because of stress, their immune system weakens. So they start getting sick more often. We know kids carry viruses and bacteria all over the place. So if your child used to be healthy and all of a sudden they start to get sick all the time, that could be also a sign that they are being bullied. With the emotional effects, the obvious anxiety, depression, panic attacks. By the way, talking about panic attacks, some parents get confused because tantrums and panic attacks can be pretty much alike. But there's ways to differentiate them. When kids are having a panic attack, you can see fear in their eyes. There's a motive, there's a reason why they don't want to go to certain place, they don't want to do certain thing, and you can see that in their eyes. It's not just I want this new iPhone or this new iPad. It's not like I don't want to go to that party, I want to stay home because I want to play video games or something like that. You can see their demeanor, you can read their body language, and there's fear and there's yelling that it's different from just a tantrum. There's an association with fear in that yelling and screaming and kicking. The best thing you can do in that situation is stay calm and help them calm down. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. And once they calm down, just ask, what's the real reason? Why do you want to come here? Why do you want to go to school? What you are saying that I'm making you go to that camping trip and you don't want to go. Because it could be a powerful reason behind it. And if we don't ask, we might be missing out. We might be sending our kids to a place where they're going to be bullied or abused or worse. Our children may not communicate with us the way we would like, which is using their words. They do communicate with us all the time. We just have to be really attentive, like pay attention and read the signs. And if we are confused, if we don't have clarity on what they're trying to say, just ask. Wait for the right moment. We have to help them calm down first. If they get bullied, they also have low self-worth and identity confusion. They feel less than. They get confused on why are they doing this to me? Why don't I fit in this group? Why is he saying that I don't belong there, or that I shouldn't be in their table at lunchtime, that I shouldn't be this cheerleading team, that I don't belong in this sport team or something? They also develop PTSD symptoms, which are hypervigilance and emotional numbness. Hypervigilance is a mental health symptom that involves an excessive state of alertness or alarm. Like they always feel like somebody's attacking them, that somebody's gonna do something to them. So pay attention to that. And with emotional numbness, if they're watching a movie and they used to be very sensitive to certain scenes, like if if something happens to a puppy or grandpa or mom or things like that, and all of a sudden they watch movies like it's nothing, that could be also a sign. Bullying has also academic effects. I think that this might be the first one that we notice actually. They drop their grades. They drop their school participation. They start forgetting homework. They start forgetting to do schoolwork. They need to work with a team of classmates. They may want not to do that. They may ask the teacher like if they can do it by themselves. They start presenting avoidance behaviors. What I mean by this is when they start skipping school, or they fake illnesses so that they don't have to go to school. And all of this increases their risk of academic failure. And if they have academic failure, the sense of self-worth that they have is going to go even lower. If somebody at school is already telling them they are losers, or they don't belong in that school, they don't belong in that group, and if their grades start to drop, they are going to believe that. They also have relational effects. When kids are being bullied, they isolate themselves and they mistrust. They don't want to be bullied anymore. They don't want to feel like they don't belong. They don't want to feel rejected. The pain is too much, so what do? They don't trust people anymore. They even may start stopping seeing their friends or going to places with the friends that they normally used to engage with and enjoy spending time with, because they don't want to be rejected. And the sense of self that they have is not the same after bullying. It changes who they are. They might withdraw from family and friends. And because of all of this, when they grow up, they might have difficulty forming healthy relationships later in life. They grow up feeling abused, or like they don't belong, or that people are doing them a favor just because they are accepted in a group. So they might see rejection and pain and rudeness as just the way that people socializes. That's the way people are. And because of all of the above, these children are at a higher risk of suicide. Children who are bullied are 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide. This is not just a phase. They get into crisis. Depending on the level of abuse and also depending on the kind of support they have at home, that's why it varies between the 2 and the 9 times. If we provide support to our kids, if we show them that they have a place in the world where they belong, if we show them how wonderful they are, that they have a place in this world, that God loves them just the way they are, they don't have to do anything to win God's love. They don't have to do anything to win our love. If we show them that, they have a better chance to overcome and to see these bullies for who they are. Is it just other kids who are also hurting? They rather present themselves as bigger and tougher because they don't want people to see who they really are, that they might be scared, they might be hurting, they might see themselves as less than as well. And not all bullying is physical. Some of the worst abuse leaves no bruises. With the physical bullying, we have hitting, kicking, pushing, taking belongings, intimidation through physical dominance. If you send your kid with lunch or with lunch money and they come home hungry, or they come home without a jacket, without the nice water bottle you bought them, without that nice hoodie that you bought them, and they always have excuses like, oh, I left it in the gym, I don't know where I left it, or somebody took it and I don't know who took it. Pay attention to those things. If they tell you those things, just tell them, okay, I'm gonna go and talk to somebody in administration. If you left the jacket at school, it must be there. And then they might get scared that you're gonna go to school, and then they might tell you the truth. The ideal is that we create an environment where they trust us. Then they come to us to tell us what's going on, like what's really, really going on. We have to create that environment. It's not just going to happen. So if they come to you, if they tell you that they are being bullied, don't panic, don't get angry, don't start like yelling and screaming and saying, "Oh my God, how is this happening? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell those people at school, like who do they think they are?" Because your kid doesn't want you to do that. Your kid doesn't want you to embarrass them or to go and make things worse for them. Because bullies, they retaliate many times, many times, and they don't like people to tell on them. So your kid might get hurt even more if you do that. So it's best to just control ourselves and be smart about it, and to create a strategy with our kids that they know what's going on and they know what we're gonna do about it, and to go and talk to the school. Don't just let it pass. If your kid says no, 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 don't do anything, I guess depending on the severity of the bullying and what other things we can do about it, but just don't doing anything is not gonna work. Also, there's in many schools they have these stupid rules where if two kids get into a fight, the two kids get in trouble. Even if one of those kids was only defending themselves. They didn't do anything wrong. One of the kids started to beat him up, and the other kid said that this is enough, and they started to defend themselves. And then they get in trouble. Don't allow your school to do that to your kid. They have to know that they have a right to defend themselves, and that you are going to support that. Even if that means to go to the school board or something. Even criminals in court, they have a right to defend themselves. How come a kid in school is not allowed to defend themselves? It's just ridiculous. According to my experience working with parents, one of the worst type of bullying is the verbal and emotional bullying. If they don't process that bullying, those words stay in their heads forever. Kids might become bitter and resentful because of this, and the sense of self-worth is like down to the basement. The insults, the name calling, the mocking, the gaslighting. Like when they complain about the abuse and they go, "Oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, you're such a sissy, such a woozy," or worse. Or when they say, "Oh, that never happened." And it's just one's word against the other one. Sometimes they even convince the other kid that that never happened, because their statement is like so strong, like, "No, I never did that. I never did that to you." Imagine what that does to their head. And then there's the shaming and the humiliation. Now with social media and with the easy access to cameras that kids have, they always have a camera in their hand. So sometimes they plan a prank, and one of them is filming it and the other one is doing the prank. And of course they target weaker kids. They make them fall, or they make them show their underwear. There's so many things they do that's it's just horrible and it's stupid. Well, the verbal and emotional bullying is normally the one that drives them to have nightmares. The one that drives them to wet the bed. Is the one that is harder on our kids. And it looks different with boys and girls. So look for different signs. Girls, they maybe if they are ashamed because of their body, then they start to wear different kind of clothes, or they start to behave differently. They become more angry. They become more sensitive about their looks. We just have to pay attention to these little things. There's also social bullying. That's the one that is relational aggression. They start spreading rumors. It doesn't matter if it happened or if it didn't. They exclude certain kids from certain activities, and then the kid thinks that nobody likes them, that they don't have any friends, that they don't belong there. So they start to also isolate. Even if they have a chance to go to a party, to a dance, to a school activity, they just rather not to, because they don't want the pain anymore. And they also start to manipulate friendships. They tell people, oh, you if you go and talk to that person, to this boy or to this girl, then you're not my friend. Then you're gonna get excluded. Then why are you the friends if they are losers? Why are you even talking to them? They never get invited to fun stuff. They don't get invited to parties. If they are choosing people for sports, they never get invited. They are always chosen the last just because they don't have any choice. Also, sometimes they force them to do their homework. So if you notice your child is struggling more on keeping up with their schoolwork, just make sure that they are doing only their homework and not other people's. And of course, there's cyberbullying. What the cyberbullying looks like? It's online harassment through text, DMs, or post, anonymous threats, doxing, online harassment through text, DMs, or post. It's very easy to hide behind a keyboard and a screen, staying anonymous, and then we can say whatever we want because it's really easy to hide behind a keyboard and a screen because most likely we are not going to pay the consequence for our actions. So people say the meanest things, they make threats, they call people names, they do doxing, which is like sharing personal important information online, and then people get harassed because of that. Sometimes their identity gets stolen because of that. There's also threats and harassment. Like if you tell, I'm gonna hurt you. There's sexual harassment. There's threats of violence. Let's talk about these things with our kids. Like, do they understand what sexual harassment is? Do they know what it means? Do they know how to behave with other kids? If somebody is doing that to them, would they recognize it? Would they see themselves as somebody who has a right to say no? Because of our culture, sometimes we see that as, it's just for girls. But boys can also be harassed in this way. There's girls sometimes can be very aggressive with boys. Some boys feel pushed to say yes just because of that. And they have just as much right to say no as any girl. Will your kid know what to do if they receive threats of violence? Will they see it as something illegal, something that it should not be done, or something that they have to put up with? There's also ongoing emotional control and fear tactics. If your child is hurting because of any of these things, and if it becomes too much, you can consider switching schools. If you can afford it, if you are able to get grants or scholarships for your kid, maybe consider private schools where they have smaller classrooms and it's easier to control the kids, or even homeschooling. Now it's easier than ever to homeschool your kids. If they are under too much stress, they're not even gonna learn anyway. And if they struggle with their mental health, the chances of school success is less and less. So sometimes we just have to wait and make the best decision for our kids. So if your child is being bullied, you might hear things like, oh, nobody likes me, I don't have any friends, or can I stay home today? I lost my lunch or my money again. It's fine, don't worry about me. But you see them and they look broken inside. Kids who are bullied have this demeanor of sadness and they are always daydreaming. You call them or you talk to them and they are thinking in something else. The worst is when they say nothing at all. They isolate, they shut down, and they stop reaching out. That silence is not peace. They go into survival mode. They are not living anymore. They don't care about eating, drinking, school, parents, fun, life, nothing. They are just surviving. These are things you can do at home. First, open the conversation. That is always going to be the first choice. Talk to them about these things. Don't wait for them to come to you. You go to them and talk to them about these things, even if you don't have any suspicion that they are being bullied at school or whatever. Talk to them. Tell them what bullying looks like. Tell them what a healthy friendship looks like. Don't tell them, show them with your friends. Like, do you allow your friends to abuse you? Do they always make you pay for the bill when you guys go out? Do they stop inviting you to parties? Do they borrow things from you and then they never return them? Do they always ask you to bring food to the reunions and they then don't bring anything? Your kid is watching you. If you allow other people to do that, they are going to think that that's normal. And that's how people relate. And that's how you get friends. You have to do favors to people for them to like you. Do you do that? If they see you doing that, they're gonna think that it's normal for somebody to ask to borrow their hoodie and they never give it back, or to help me do my homework, or we have to do this homework as a team, but yeah, you do it because you have better handwriting, because you are the nerd of the group or whatever, and then they do it. If you notice any of the symptoms, just ask straightforward. Has anybody been treating you badly at school or online? And no matter what they tell you, stay calm, listen, and don't dismiss anything. Don't lose it. Don't panic. Stay calm. And if there's something you need to address with them, don't do it there. Just let them talk. Let them, if you interrupt them, if you panic, they are going to panic. Let them talk until the end, until the very end. And then you can talk to them. And then you can talk them into doing something about it. Even if that means to change them from one school to another one. If the bullying gets too heavy, if one of the kids who are threatening them, they become too violent. Every case is different. I can give you all the examples of every case. That's why parenting coaching is very personal, because each household has different dynamics. Every situation is different. If you have questions over any particular issue, any particular situation, we can have a discovery call that is going to cost nothing to you. And you, at least you can have clarity on things that you can do. If they say yes, if they say that they have been bullied either at school or online or whatever, document everything. Save screenshots. Log incidents. Get names, places, times, dates. This is going to be really helpful if you need to take action with school, the school board, even law enforcement. The more proof you have, the more proof you show them, they're going to see that you are serious and they're not going to shut you down. The mama bear has to come out there. Involve the school immediately. Insist on a formal bullying report and follow up often. Escalate if they downplay it. Most of the time they're going to send you with the assistant principal. If they don't listen, go to the principal. If not, then go to the supervisor, with the zone superintendent, with the school board, wherever you have to go. Are they not listening to you at school? Go to the press. Go on social media. Talk about it. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be vulgar. You can be calm and well-mannered and still put them in their place if that's what you need to do. And get professional help for your kid, for you. Bullying causes trauma. Depending on the type of bullying that your child was receiving, that trauma can lead to suicidal ideation, and suicidal ideation can lead to suicide. So let's not risk it. Get your child a therapist or a counselor who understands childhood depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Get yourself a parenting coach. It's hard to navigate these things. Most parents also go into crisis. They are in trauma. Just the thought of losing your child to something like this, just the thought of, I'm sending my child to school where all these people are going to mistreat them, where all these people are going to abuse them. It's really hard. And show your child support at home. Rebuild their confidence. Praise their strengths. Spend quality time with them. Let them feel safe, seen, and unconditionally loved. What you build at home is going to become their strength. If they feel valued at home and somebody in school tell them that like they are nobody, they have a better chance to believe that they are somebody, that they are loved and appreciated, and they have an intrinsic value as human beings just because they exist and they are God's children. So parents, this is not the time to wait and see. Bullying destroys lives, and if we don't take it seriously, we risk losing our children, not just emotionally, but literally. Your child needs you to believe them, to protect them, to fight for them. If this helped, subscribe and share. And if your child is struggling with bullying and suicidal thoughts, reach out. I can help you navigate this. Be a mama bear. Your child needs your courage. Let's fight for them together.